So is he gonna do that?
I don't know. Haven't heard.
Dan, what's the process if the community member from Green wants to get on there? Do they have to approach the board?
I believe they have to approach the board, either that or the town manager.
Okay.
And if they're appointed, they have to be sworn in, and that's it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. All right.
If he doesn't want to go, I'd be available.
Really? Put your name in. Let the town manager know.
If Mr. Chalteville doesn't want to, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll do that.
That would be good.
Okay.
It'd be great. Yeah. Looks like we still got some people joining, so I'll give it a couple minutes. Thanks for everyone being here tonight.
A little bit of water in the lake, huh, Dan?
Yeah. I just came from the dam. It's 9 or 10 inches going over the top.
Wow.
I pulled 4 panels off of my dock when I got home because the waves were raising it.
Yeah, the waves. Yeah. Yeah, the waves. Yeah. Yeah, the waves. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had to pull all of my panels.
Oh, really?
I think we're getting some echo back.
Yeah, we're getting big echo.
All right, my dock's underwater.
Yeah, mine isn't underwater, but boy, the waves were breaking over it.
Hey, David, I think your computer is giving us some feedback. Oh, there you go. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. I'm just going to jump into it just with a couple updates. So from the Bates individuals, just been in contact with them. She emailed me this morning. They're looking at the end of September and October as of right now for that meeting. I know last week or the week before, we had talked about them possibly doing it in September. They got back to me and said that their dates with school starting and their classes for that professor starting, it was looking going to be around the end of September or beginning of October now at this point. They want to try to get everybody involved in that project in the meeting when they do it. So that's why they're trying to coordinate such a large schedule. I think there's, a handful of students, Abby, the graduate who works for them, and then the Professor Holly as well. So they're still coordinating that, but it's looking like end of September, and then beginning of October. She is still working to get a light on the buoy as well. I know I reached out to Ken last week about that update specifically because he had asked about it. They did put some reflective tape on the buoy though. In the meantime, I guess there's they thought there was a hook on the top to attach a light, but there wasn't. So they're looking into how to attach a light to it and have it stay on there as well. So in the meantime, if you do see it with a reflective light, I know, Ken, you had talked to me about some of those concerns that it still might be hard to see. If you could just, if anybody's out there, you don't have to make any special trips, but if anybody's out there and just, they notice it is reflective and at least the tape is semi-working, just an update on that end would be great. The main DEP, the contact that I've been talking to there, Addie, she's working with her colleagues to get a presentation going right now for us as well. It's also looking going to be probably September, October also. They have field work that they're doing right now. They're also trying to coordinate between multiple different people as well, but it would be about that same time. They asked for a copy of my research that I did through my graduate program, which I sent them today. So we are still working together on that process. I have yet to hear back from the professor I reached out to, who talked about the Alewives at the conference of the University of Maine in Augusta in 2019. I am going to follow up with him. I'm going to give him a phone call either most likely tomorrow or Friday, and just leave a voice message there as well. So things are in motion, things are going. They definitely take some time. That is all my updates I have for today. I don't know if any of you saw my post that I posted on the Facebook. I had the Emily from the Sabattus town office reach out to me on Monday or Tuesday this week. Apparently a pond resident, and pond resident, let me get his name, Mike Lecomte. He is the son of Constance Lecomte, I guess, who was very involved with the process of the Sabattus Lake Association back in the 1960s and 70s. He had a whole host of documents from back then that I uploaded onto the Facebook page and into our Google Drive of historical documents. And it was great to see. It had newspaper clippings from that time. It had some of their literature that they put out to the public as well. I'm just going to share my screen real quick just to show you all, if you hadn't had a chance to see it yet, just a quick thing, but it's on our Facebook page, and it's also on our Google Drive too. It's some pretty great stuff.
Nick, maybe after we get off, I haven't been able to find the Facebook page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can share it in the chat right now for you if that helps. You just click on the link.
I didn't know if there was what's the screenshot look like? Because I look at I'm looking for the groups, but I couldn't find it. So it's probably right there in front of me, but.
I just shared it in the chat, and I can also text it to you, Wayne, if that helps. I can share it to you that way.
I'd appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Nick.
Yeah, no problem. There we go.
My daughter brought someone out on the lake. A girl. She brought 3 people out today. The girl is working on her PhD.
Oh.
And they took core samples, looking for a certain kind of algae. She knows more about it. She knows all about it, but she brought them out. They were out there today. They took core samples. She said they left here at 10, and that group left at I don't know, 4 o'clock.
Wow. Okay. Do you know what school they were from?
UMO.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I wish she would have been in my little cove over here the other day. She could have had all the algae samples she wanted.
Well, she's going for core samples.
Core sample.
Yeah.
In the soil.
Is it really
Everything froze up.
What's that?
Everything froze up there for a minute.
Oh, is it all set now?
Yep, seems to be.
Okay. All right. Yeah, keep sending in those pictures. Wayne has sent in a bunch. Donna as well. A couple from Tom Jordan has been sending in some. You know, if you see that stuff happening, definitely don't hesitate to snap a quick pic, and you can either email it to me or text it to me also. We've got a good collection of data going. I have all the dates, the locations. You know, we're just going to start mapping them and putting them on a document, and then going from there. So it's definitely very helpful.
There was some white foam a couple of days ago. Anybody else get that? White foam?
No.
That's basically phosphorus, Donna.
Thanks.
Especially if was it rough?
Yes.
Was it windy? Yeah. That's phosphorus.
Mm. Well, Diane alerted me to it, my next door neighbor, but we had gone by the time I thought to take a picture or I got her message.
Yeah, that's kind of normal.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I remember definitely seeing it out there in rough waters as well. Um, so I shared this on our Facebook page. There's a post that I did about 4 hours ago. It's just a collection of different news clippings that was sent to the Emily at the Sebastian office. She received it from that other post resident or that other pond resident, Mike Lecomte. And I read through them all, and it was pretty interesting stuff. Honestly, I highly recommend checking them out. It talks about the egg farm and the legal battle with that, and
Yeah.
eventually it was shut down. And it talks about the battle too that the citizens had trying to address these problems and the difficulties of it. It had a clipping of Nason's Beach, which I think is around your area, Wayne.
Yes.
I mean, it's just I found it very sobering, kind of like I said in the post, just how similar like their concerns for the environment and for the pond were, almost over 50 years ago now, in the 1960s and 70s, and how
Yeah.
much it still echoes today. It's like we're having the same conversation. And, I mean, I want to show you all this flyer that they wrote back then.
I like that one, Nick. That was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
I mean,
noticed
this
it
is
said that there were 300 members in their association.
Oh,
I noticed that too. Yeah, yeah.
What, I mean, we don't know if they ever did go to court, right?
I think they did at some point. There was litigation. I know that there was also another side involvement with the public utilities company at the time too, which played a role in that. I'm not entirely sure though. I mean, this is all new documentation to me, which I'm extremely thankful for. If anybody knows Mike Lecomte personally, please, I'd love to have his contact info and thank him and reach out to him. I tried to look him up on Facebook, but there's quite a few in the area, or at least in Maine. So if anybody knows him personally, please definitely connect me if you can. But yeah, just I mean, it's too much precious time has been lost, and that was written in the 1970s. There's also some pretty interesting wording too when you get down into the actual letters that they wrote. And this is I think this is their bylaws, I believe, starting of it, their newsletter from 1974. So it's a very interesting read.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're just repeating ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maddening.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be.
Yes.
Department of
gonna
Health and Welfare.
Gonna take action and not so much research. I mean, we gotta do action.
Yeah, no, I agree. We certainly have to do that.
Yeah, but that's what the state wants is research. That's all you're gonna get from them is research.
And that's kind of where a lot of this, stakeholder group and everything else comes in. We do need research to make the right decisions. I think I've expressed that a lot. But there also needs to be actionable results from that research. And that's some of the conversation I've been having with Bates as well. They were working on the pond for 4 years. And that data would be extremely useful for decision making later on down the road. It's I'm not saying specifically about the Bates, but a lot of scientific research is usually like this one and done. Let's just add it to the general consensus of literature and move on. When long time investment in the human existence around these areas is what's needed. Some of this wording too in language I found very powerful, but yeah.
Oh, that last one.
Yeah.
That last screen. Where was it? The one with the suggestions as to what to do. There were 4 suggestions.
Oh yeah, vote for men. Yes, I
Yeah,
did
you
notice
saw
that. I did notice that, and a lot of the letters started with gentlemen as well, which
Wait, what's wrong with that? I'm just teasing.
yeah.
I was a member in 1974.
You
Were
were okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What was
So
that
what-
experience like, Dan?
What stopped it from 1974? What happened to stop it from going forward?
It continued into the 90s.
But I guess my question is, and I'm just being a little cynical here, but if we've been studying this thing since the 60s and even before,
Yeah.
I mean, when was there ever any action taking, or has it just been continuum of research, and complaints?
Well,
There
what
has-
action?
We were used as a experiment back in 1980. In 1980, they rebuilt the dam, repaired the dam. They dug a channel through the sandbar to the dam. They blasted 4 or 5 feet of ledge from underneath the dam, and then they used us as a experiment. And they were drawing the lake down 9 feet
Wow.
every fall. At first, they started in August, and of course, the people complained
Sure.
because by Labor Day, you had 2 weeks. The water was low,
Yes.
and they ran that experiment supposedly for 10 years, but they actually ran it for nearly 20. And it stopped. Actually, it stopped when the dam commission was formed, and when another lake association, the Sabattus Pond Watershed Partnership, was also formed, and they stopped that massive drawdown because what we found was by draining all of that out, we exposed a lot of bottom sediments. And when you rehydrated those bottom sediments, it released phosphorus from the soils.
That
Or
makes
made
sense.
it worse. It made it worse, is what you're saying.
It made it worse. Yeah.
Huh.
So since, I don't know, 1999, 2000, we've been drawing down the lake in the fall about 4 feet. And that drains a lot of water, but it doesn't expose all of those soils.
But draining down the lake, the only benefit that is for erosion, right? It has nothing to do with algae. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, yeah. Dam flushing practice to also take the top layer of algae off during blooms is usually done as well. At least,
It's funny. That's what we're doing right now. We've got 10 inches going over the top of the dam right now.
yeah, but this is an abnormal year for that, isn't that right?
That's right. But we
Yeah.
also in 2002, we changed one of the gates. We have 2 gates on the dam, and we changed one of them to a top draw.
Mhm.
So when we get a bloom, we can open up the top draw gate. We just open it up 2 or 3 inches and just let it flow.
Yeah.
It seems to help.
Has that been standard practice though?
That's been
Since
standard
2002?
practice since 2002. Yes.
Okay.
So it helps skim off the layer on the surface, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we found is it's better to keep the water just a couple inches over the top and allow it to flow because it flows more. Problem is you can't guarantee it. You know,
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have any rain, the lake gets low.
right. Like the past 2 years, we were not able to fill the lake. We came within an inch or two of doing it, but there were drought years and the lake just never filled.
It's
That's
full.
unusual though.
Well, those 2 years was unusual, but this year is unusual the other way.
Exactly.
Is that policy written down somewhere, Dan?
What policy?
To take the top layer of the pond off during blooms since 2002?
I don't understand. I don't know if it's policy. It's policy. It's what we do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's speaking as a dam commission.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing the past 20 years since we put that top draw gate in.
And what would
And
the new dam? What would a new dam do for us? Anything at all?
well, oh yeah, because the new dam will have two 13-foot long top draw gates. So that's 26 feet that is usable, maneuverable. So we can institute a top draw over 26 feet,
Oh, good.
which would be a lot more than the top draw that we have now of a 4-foot gate. So that's one thing. Plus, we'd still have the top draw 4-foot gate, and then the bottom draw 4-foot gate also. But the top draw gates are designed for what we want to do. We want to be able to draw off the top.
Now, you probably answered this question for me. I know I'm taking a lot of time here, but when is it? When and if it is there going to be a new dam put in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Well, we've only been working on it for 2 or 3 years now. And what it comes down to right now is we are working on trying to get special town meetings in all 3 towns to approve or just funding to repair the dam. And we're trying to do that early, like August, September, to get the funding lined up. So then if everything goes right, we could actually begin working on it next year. But right now it's looking closer to 25.
It does qualify for, I know at some point we talked about there's federal money available for situations like this. Do we qualify for that? Does the damn thing qualify for that?
We've been searching for it.
Yeah.
We haven't received any. We put in for a one of those congressional earmarks,
Mhm.
Grant?
a grant, and we got turned down.
Yeah.
We've applied for a number of grants. I'd have to talk to JD and see what he's done. But we haven't received any as of yet, which is why we're going direct to the towns for the towns to fund it.
So are we looking for repair or replace?
Replace, I hope.
It's a major rebuild. It's not replace, but there's to replace all the gates. Yeah, to replace the gates. We're looking at the 1,000-year floodplain because that's what FEMA says we have to do. It's refacing the front of the dam, building buttresses on the back side of the dam, and basically leaving the core and building around it.
And what's the price tag? Do you know, Dan? Well,
About $1 million for that, but we're tied in, or we're not tied in. The DMR is trying to tie us in to build a fish gate.
yeah.
And at
That's okay.
first,
I heard.
yeah, they want us to put in a fish ladder. And at first, we figured, okay, you can put in your fish ladder, rebuild our dam. But then, as we were in discussions more and more, we were told, well, no, we're not going to fix your dam, but we'll build a fish ladder. And right now, it's $1 million to repair the dam, and it's 1.2 million to put in the fish ladder. So the dam commission, has decided we'll go to the towns and just repair the dam.
Hmm.
And we'll forget about the fish ladder.
And 330,000 per town.
368 per town.
So would
And
that make it easier to open the dam for you? I think you're in charge of that, or you and somebody else. Would that make it easier also?
Oh, to make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
To open a dam right now, we get together 5 or 6 people. Yeah, 6 people, and we can open it. Now, back in my younger days, I could open it by myself, but I'm 65 years old. I'm not 30 anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
at
tell me.
30, I could open it.
Now, I'm not sure if I have this right. Dan, remember I said my wife had done some research about the alewives,
Yeah.
and I heard I think in the report, there might be a negative impact to the pond.
In my opinion, and what I've been taught through the years, is they are a negative impact.
Then
In fact, Dave Hollowell at a lakes meeting, I don't know, 20 years ago or more, had said he would not introduce plankton feeders into a what's the word? Threatened lake. Threatened in as we have algae. Any lake that has algae, he would not put a plankton feeder. In fact, he said at the time, and alewives are plankton feeders.
yes,
He said at the time he would open up commercial fishing to white perch to get rid of them because they are plankton feeders until they mature.
yes.
So putting in right now, we're limiting the DMR to 10,600 adults every spring. We allow them to put in 10,600. With the fish ladder, they're looking at 500,000.
Well, why would we allow them to do that?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
I mean, that doesn't make, well, anyway, that just probably, I'm probably,
Look, I'm not
yeah, I know.
I'm not really thrilled about the 10,600, but I did agree to it back in 2002 because that was the cost of putting in the top draw gate. The
Yeah.
DMR paid for that. Um, and it was supposed to be for 10 years. We had we had to agree to 10 years. So theoretically, we could say we don't want any more alewives.
Yeah, if it's a negative impact to the pond, I think that would be an easy decision.
Yeah, that
Right.
is, I'm glad you guys brought that up because that's been my research too that I've been working on. And that's what I've found as well, that there are, although people do say that there could be potential positive impacts, most of the research I found was negative impacts,
Yeah.
specifically on eutrophic ponds like Sabattus Pond.
Right. I agree, Nick. But try telling that to the DMR.
So does the DMR then just harvest them for lobster bait essentially every year from Sabattus Pond?
They don't harvest them. They just stock them here. They spawn, and the adults leave within 2 or 3 weeks.
And then
But their
they're
spawn stays in the lake until we open the dam. And all they're doing is it's lobster bait. They
Yeah.
don't catch them, but they allow people to catch them.
I mean, they must harvest them at some point down the line, right? Like when they reach the Androscoggin or something like that.
The fishermen harvest them. The DMR doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
But the fishermen harvest them and sell them for lobster bait. And they also have a smoke shack down it's around Damascotta. It's before Damascotta. I went to that years ago. Because there is a commercial fishery for smoked herring,
Mhm.
and alewives are herring.
That's the Department of Marine Resources, is that right?
The DMR is,
DMR is Department of Marine Resources.
and they
So
have,
the fishing lobby convinces DMR to make this decision?
I don't know.
But the contract is up with DMR, so we don't have to abide by that anymore. We could say no more. Is that correct?
Yes, we can. But there are other considerations.
What would we lose by doing that with them?
The dam,
yeah, see, they hold a big check.
not
They
a
still
check.
do- they still do?
They hold a big hammer.
There you go.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Well, the dam is in need of repair,
Mhm.
and they can petition the state, probably MEMA, to open the dam and don't close it. In other words, don't fill the lake again until the dam's repaired.
So
And
they're
of course, look, this is politics.
No, I
It's
understand, but
all
I mean, are they
politics.
essentially saying that it's they're blackmailing the dam commission, or they would report them for the?
They're not blackmailing the dam commission. They're blackmailing the towns.
Eh,
Yeah.
How
They,
does the money flow?
It's very subtle right now, but the hammer is there.
Are there other people on the dam commission that would like to see this practice stopped?
There are 8 members.
Yeah.
All 8 would love to see it stopped.
has anybody talked to them recently about stopping it, and like what their response was?
Stopping what?
The stalking, the 10,000 stalking.
No, they haven't, because they haven't requested to stalk as they used to.
They just do it.
They just do it now. In fact, for the 10 years, the guy in charge of it would call us or email us, every member, tell them, I'm going to be at the boat launch at this time on this day to restock. And we would go over and check it out and see him. But since he is now no longer involved with it, we don't hear from anyone.
They just do it.
They just do it.
Wow.
And that's private industry.
No. That's the state.
And
That's
is it,
Department of Marine Resources.
so the Department of Marine Resources hires someone to stock the lake?
No.
Oh,
Department of Marine Resources stocks the lake.
But so just so I understand, so it's assumed by the dam commission that if you were to ask them to stop, they might report you all to the main FEMA and then take control of the dam themselves. Is that correct?
No, they couldn't take control of the dam, but
Open
MEMA
it.
could.
Yeah,
The main emergency management
yeah.
could order the dam opened
So
and
they
leave
could.
it open.
So that's just a suspicion that the dam commission has. It's subtle.
No. It's we've been told that.
Dan, can I ask when you've been told that?
Few years ago.
Was it in writing?
No.
You know, on what grounds could they actually do that? You just
The
can't
dam
drink.
is in need of repair, and it is, if you look up the state reports on it, it was in writing in 2014, I believe. We got a letter that recommended that we don't refill the dam, the lake.
Because of
No.
the structural integrity of the dam?
Because of the structural integrity of the dam.
So is the dam
Now-
that unsafe right now?
No,
No?
it's not. But what they're using is, we cannot find any blueprints that say that the dam is staked to the underlying bedrock. So because of that, there are no blueprints, which amazes me. The Army Corps of Engineers did all kinds of work on that in 1979. And for some reason, nobody could find the prints. Yeah. Look, there's a lot of politics here.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. It's just concerning hearing that. And it's nothing on you per se. It's just like if they've subtly or verbally told you that if you try to ask them to stop the alewives, that they would then commission the main emergency management to open the dam and not fill it again, strictly because you asked them not to do alewives. That's that's highly unethical. If that's
Yeah.
like,
Nick, it's politics.
I understand, but if they're saying that they can then use the quality of the dam now, the structural integrity of the dam now, to open it up and recommend it not to be there, holding it over your heads, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that also is like, it puts into question the safety of the dam itself. I mean, there's quite a few homes that are downstream from that dam.
Now, the dam is right now holding back more water than I have seen in a long time. I've seen the lake higher than it is now.
Mhm.
I don't know, 20 years ago, even more.
Do you have the name of the person that said that to you all? Who works for the main the MDR, the
I do.
DRE? Could you give that to us?
No.
But it's a Maine Department of Resources employee.
Are you worried that, are you worried that,
Department of Marine DMR. Yeah, Department of Marine Resources.
An official state employee.
Yes.
And it was in writing.
No.
Verbally, yeah, is what they said.
No. It was not in writing.
It's not in writing. Okay.
No, so look, it's again, it's political.
Small town.
I
So
understand, but
that is why we are trying to get this repaired with the towns taking it on. And that is they're look, they are not happy with the interlocal agreement that puts the towns in charge of this lake.
yeah,
Because
it's one of the few in the state. Yeah.
who isn't
one
happy
of
with
the-
it? I'm sorry.
one of the few in the country.
Yeah.
Typically, the state controls anything over 10 acres. All the great ponds are under state control. Here on Sabattus Pond, the towns of Green Wales and Sabattus control that.
And what's the
That's what-
advantage? What's the advantage of the three towns controlling it rather than the state?
It's local control.
Yeah, community control of shared resources is the benefit there.
Yeah.
Do the three towns do something that the state wouldn't do? I mean, do you think that the state would handle the dam differently than you do?
That is why the dam commission was formed, because the state put out a 1999 water level order that most people were unhappy with.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so the dam commission was formed and told the state, you no longer have any say. We will take care of it ourselves. So our water level order, which we had to put in place in 2001, I believe.
It must be at a higher level, right?
It was at a foot higher than the state mandated, and
And
the drawdown was the same old drawdown 8-9 feet every fall.
but
We changed that.
the date changed too after the dam commission, correct? It's now in October.
Right. The DEP said September 1st. We moved it back to October.
Which is better.
Well, yeah, we thought so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, Dan, you
So-
might want to mention that I think the drawdown is October 8th this year.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's October 7th or 8th. It's a Saturday or Sunday. A bunch of the guys said it's not going to be Saturday because they're going to be doing something, as in hunting. So I think that moved it till Sunday. So it would be the 8th. Yes, Donna. It's
Yeah.
October 8th.
Has there ever been a meeting in your memory of all three towns meeting in one building?
No, that is what we're working on setting up. I forget the date, but it's August 27th, I believe.
And what do you know what the agenda is?
The dam commission is asking for the selectmen from all three towns
Yeah.
to be in a meeting to decide how we're going to proceed and how we want to fund this. Are we gonna go to a bond, or are we just gonna go to the towns and say we need $368,000?
Are they all on the, do you think in your travels, are they all on the same page? I mean, are they agreeing with you, or is there more politics involved?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Now, I do know, we were in line for that congressional earmark. I forget, congressionally designated something. I forget the name. And we lost it because there's Sabattus is in turmoil over an earmark that they received that the town didn't want to ask for, but an official of the town applied for it and got it. So the dam couldn't be funded because Sabattus had already gotten one.
And that was for a fire station.
Yeah. And
So
the
the-
fire station, they got a $2 million grant, but in order to build it, the town has to come up with 5.8 million or something like that. I'm not even sure. I try to stay out of that stuff, but you get the 2 million, but you gotta put in 5 million to get the 2.
I mean, it would take a long time if you had, I'm thinking of ways of making money. If you had at the boat ramp in Sabattus, you started charging people to put in boats and park their
You
vehicles.
can't.
Oh my God.
Supposedly, the IF&W says you cannot,
Wow.
but the actual, from what I remember when they put it in, you can charge, but you can charge non-residents double what you charge residents. Okay?
Yep.
So you have to charge your residents to put it in, because the IF&W is who put that in. That was back in that whole project back in 1980, where they dug the channel through the sandbar. They dredged out in front where the boat launch is. They dug another channel through the sandbar to the lake. Yeah. So when you deal with the state, there's a lot of strings attached.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
I just want to go back to something you mentioned. So Sabattus is saying that they're not financially able to take on the burden of potentially repairing the dam because of the fire department grant?
No,
No.
that is not what they're saying.
Okay,
We don't know that.
okay.
This is just, I just put that in because had the fire chief not applied for this, which he was told not to, and again, politics, he circumvented the town.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that. I know it's a whole thing.
Right.
I might, yeah, I'm very familiar with
So-
it. The town manager did sign a letter of consent for that grant application though, just for anybody watching. But yes,
So Sabattus getting that grant precluded the dam commission from getting grant money because Susan Curtis Collins' office had given it already to Sabattus.
That's my understanding.
So Sabattus would be double dipping.
I mean, the two different
Right.
grants, it's different funding sources for those for grants. But
They were
like I said,
they congressionally designated, I forget the actual name, but they're earmarks. What we were going for was an earmark, which the same thing that the fire station went. So anyway,
yeah.
we are trying to work our way around this and get the dam repaired.
Is that
Right.
big meeting, Dan, is that big meeting? You said August 27th? That's a Sunday. Does that make sense?
No,
What day is
I
it?
don't know the date of the meeting. It hasn't been set yet.
Okay.
Eric, who is a dam commission member and a selectman of Wales, is in Italy right now.
Oh, okay. But it will be a public meeting, right? Like the public can go to it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome.
I believe so. I don't know how it's being set up. It may be set up as a workshop because, again, the selectmen are setting it up. I'm not.
Hmm. Well, can you keep us informed
Sure.
when there is a date picked? Awesome. Great.
That's good discussion. I really thank you for taking the time to do that because I've learned a lot tonight. A lot that, and again, it's small town politics, and that's just the way the world works. It's too bad.
Well, unfortunately, it's small town politics and it's also state politics.
Yeah, politics. It's all politics. That's
It's all politics. I mean, we're into federal politics.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100% true. I understand the realization that, politics are involved in a lot of things. It's just, I feel like given enough time, we can try to work around this stuff because at the end of the day, it's the community who suffers because of politics.
Yes,
So
but that's what we're working on, Nick. I mean, we have a small group, the Dam Commission.
No, I
and
appreciate.
they are working real hard to get this done.
I 100% appreciate it, Dan, and I know you guys do a lot of good work. I would like to see a lot of like community involvement and stuff in that. And I understand we talked a little bit about like maybe broadcasting the meetings. I mean, that increases access, that increases accessibility to those meetings, the Dam Commission specifically. I do want to say, just for the record, that if the Maine Department of Marine Resources or employee of them did say that to you, that is a huge red flag to me. I understand it's politics, I do, but like, I mean, this is people's homes, communities. Our next generations are going to have to deal with this problem because this one person is saying this.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 32. I mean, hey, age doesn't have anything to do with it. I know politics, but
as you age, you learn a lot.
He's still got his principles.
And
Yeah,
that doesn't
I will
sound
die
like
with that.
politics to me.
That
That
doesn't,
sounds,
yeah.
it sounds like that a bit different than politics. It sounds like,
Extortion.
Yeah,
it's not really
exactly.
politics.
Well, I mean, I understand, Dan, your unwillingness to give that name, but I mean, like that, if that's a state paid employee saying this to a group of community of people in charge of of common pool resources of 3 towns, that can't stand. I mean, I don't know what else to say to it. Like, And you can call me naive, or anybody who's watching afterwards can call me naive. That's just politics, but that's just not the world I wanna go for.
Yeah,
And that's not towards you. I know you probably feel the same way. I'm just saying.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not the way I want it to work. Now, what I didn't tell you is something that I was told privately, and I'm
Mhm.
not going to tell you that. But when I was told that privately, uh, I came unglued.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So
I
anyway, he started apologizing real quick and explaining that he didn't want to upset me. I said, well, you don't want to upset me. You probably shouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
But it was privately. It was after the meeting, and it was just he and I
Oh.
talking.
Mm.
Because, look, I've been against this uh, fish ladder from the start because it's unregulated.
mhm.
Yep.
And at the beginning, I was saying, and I still say now, if you have a fish ladder, we have to have a counter. If we're allowing you 10,000 fish a year, after we hit the 10,000, that fish ladder gets closed. And I'm hearing, well, you can't have a counter.
Well, there. So,
We have no way of counting. And I said, well, I'll go up there and I'll stand there and I'll count the fish go through in 15 minutes, and I'll just multiply that until we get to 10,000, and that'll say the gate stays open for X amount of hours, and then we close it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think there's way too many unknowns about putting alewives in that pond, especially because it's eutrophic. So I 100% support the not inclusion of the ladder.
Yep.
The data does not back that there's a benefit. It actually potentially shows there's a negative. And
Yep.
even if it's non-conclusive at this time, there's still too many unknowns to risk it with a lake that's this impaired. There's dozens of other bodies of water that are in better condition that could support it if that's the case.
Yeah.
Um,
Nick, I'm amazed that you're saying that, because most of the people
mhm.
say that what you're saying is wrong.
It's not
There are-
environmentally friendly. The connection of the is
Yeah.
that what? Yeah. Hey, I mean,
It's-
I literally spent the last 3 weeks reading about alewives. So I mean, and I'm talking like academic papers on them and everything like that. So this is what the research supports, and those connection of previously separated habitats by other dams. I mean, it's literally just to support the bait fishing industry at that point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, that's what it's bait fishing.
yeah,
That's
and
what
I
the
mean,
alewives are.
there's no secret that and I'm not taking a shot at the lobster industry, but there's no secret that it's one of the most powerful industries in Maine. Of course they're going to have some weight in some state level agencies. I'm just saying I don't think it needs to happen in Sabattus Pond. So yeah.
I don't either.
do the
This,
commissioners?
one of these reports you've read wouldn't be by a professor out of Massachusetts, last
One of
name
them.
of Norton.
It is one of them, yeah.
Yeah, he's not welcome here in the state.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't like him because he tells it how it is about alewives, and the state doesn't agree. So they don't want him uh
Influencing.
influencing, right?
Because that goes back to what you just said, Nick. The lobster industry is a powerful industry in the state of Maine.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's yeah.
Ex-
And yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I got the name right.
Let me pull it up. Yeah, I did email somebody 2 weeks ago about it. That was who I was talking about. I read other papers too from other people. The one actually I was from that I emailed is William McDowell from Merrimack College in Andover, Mass.
Okay. Okay.
Do the people in your world or group, like all these selectmen and townspeople, know what you know the negativity of alewives? Do they know the negative impact? Do they know what you?
I don't know. They know they know what I know because I've told them.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Are you on record for saying that it's a negative impact to the pond?
Yes,
And they heard that. They've all heard that.
they've all heard that, and they've all heard that many times.
And they still are they still in favor of a fishway, or they just, like you said, it's politics?
We don't know if they're in favor of fishway. We haven't brought it to the towns. The towns know that they're talking about a fishway because the DMR has put out articles in newspapers about their fishway and what they're doing and what they're planning. But it hasn't come to fruition yet.
Okay.
Before they can get to the fishway, the Farwell Dam has to be removed. They've already removed the Juliet Dam and the upper dam. There's the 40-year dam right in town here, right off Main Street.
Mhm.
That has to be removed. Another dam, the old gristmill dam right by Main Street Market in Sabattus. That has to be breached. It's not much of a dam. It's a granite block.
Yeah.
So all of that has to be done before the fish can get to the fishway. If the fishway is not there, then it makes no sense to eliminate all of those dams.
There you go.
But they're pushing hard to eliminate those dams. In fact, we at the meeting, the last meeting, I think it's Steve said, "Oh, you want money to remove the dam? You got all kinds of money. There's a push around getting rid of dams."
It's national.
It is.
Yeah.
National?
Yeah, I mean, mostly to reconnect habitats essentially, but in the case of Sabattus Pond, like there's other angles to it too. And I mean the funding, like Dan was saying, with the fish ladder and everything, it's a big push nationally. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is this,
If anybody remember the Edwards Dam in Augusta? No, they removed it so that what are those fish? Anyway,
Smelt?
no, not smelt. Seen them in Gardner. They just come flying up out of the river. They jump all the time now. Sturgeon. Yes,
Yeah.
sturgeon. Well, now they removed the Edwards Dam, which was a hydro dam, and it was producing power. They removed it, forced the owner to pay for the removal so that the fish could make it all the way up to Winslow now to the next dam. Now, before the dam was removed, there was riverfront property. And after you remove the dam, there was still riverfront property, but it was a lot different, a lot shallower.
Well, the fish have more rights than we do.
The fish have more rights than we do.
There are sometimes net benefits to the reconnection of habitats too, but
Yeah, it could be.
I love the discussion. Just to be respectful of your time, it is 7:07. So I just wanted to say thanks, and I appreciate everyone for being here. So I wanted to give everybody a heads up next week. So I've been doing a lot of research on lateral or nonprofit governance structures and models. And I want to try something next week. Just anticipation of like trying to get some bylaws down to actually create a nonprofit, but it's going to be beneficial in two ways. It's just going to be a workshop meeting. We're going to have our conversation and stuff before, kind of like we do every meeting. But I want to carve out at least a half an hour to kind of do a little workshop with y'all. So we can talk about potential stakeholders and stakeholder categories. Because like I've kind of talked about this whole time, this is a huge participatory process. And like me just sitting in my room coming up with these is doing a disservice to everybody else, because all of you have different perspectives that I don't necessarily have. So in order to bring that into the process, I'm going to try to carve out a half an hour's time of our meeting next week to try to work on a stakeholder identification. So essentially what that means, and when I send my update, I'm gonna make sure to define it. But in between this like the end of this meeting and next meeting, if you could just, anything that pops into mind, like a stakeholder is someone that has a vested stake in this community, in this watershed. Anybody that you could think of that might, and like, just write it down or jot it down, put it in your phone, and then we'll talk about it and try to make a big list together as a first part of the process for securing our bylaws and securing or starting a resilience assessment, because it begins with a stakeholder identification and then reaching out from there. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Nick, I don't know, I can't remember if I mentioned this or you mentioned it, but just for everyone, I already told Nick this, but I connected with this guy, Scott Williams, who did someone laugh? Someone knows him?
I did.
Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. After this meeting, that's not a good sign. Well, in any event, he apparently went to go speak at another Lake Association meeting that I have a friend who belongs to, and she said he was really good, and he mentioned Sabattus as a lake that has issues, and so he has agreed to come talk to us at some point. He's now retired, but he's the former executive director of Maine Lakes Stewards. It's a nonprofit. So I don't know what's your
Lake Stewards of Maine is what it is.
Yeah.
LSM.
He's retired. He's retired now.
Isn't
My
that where
my
Dan
daughter
Garrett's
works there.
daughter works?
That's where my daughter works.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're familiar with him.
Oh, very.
Should we take that to mean you're not a fan, or you don't have to answer that?
No, I think we should hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I guess the more the merrier, right?
I worked with Scott for years. Scott's the one who trained me in monitoring the lake for clarity and dissolved oxygen. Yeah. But I'll put a but in there. He left Lake Stewards of Maine not on good terms.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was more or less forced out.
Mhm.
Well, it wasn't for anything illegal like embezzlement, was it?
No.
That's a good question.
No. No,
Just-
it couldn't have been embezzlement because my daughter takes care of the books.
Small world here.
Leah?
No, Christine.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm
Christine.
just looking at, I'm on the website now, just looking at, well, is it worth, well, I mean, your daughter works, I don't know if is it worth having someone from that organization who's still with them to come and talk to us?
Sure. Tristan
Yeah,
has been in
Tristan.
on
Yeah.
a few of our meetings.
He has,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah, so we're already connected with them.
Yeah,
He's on our email
we're
list too.
connected. My daughter is the what's her title? What does she do? Right now, she's a ISS. She's training the ISS director.
She's the accountant.
And she's the accountant.
I
And
think
she's
this
something
website
else.
is, yeah, she's not on here. I think this website is out of date. Because it still has Scott working here, and obviously he's gone, so.
Yeah, it's out of date. Scott's been out of there for 2 years now.
Yeah, so yeah, it's out of date, yeah.
Ooh.
So, but sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry to keep people longer. It's already been a long meeting.
But they do have outreach. And like I said, Tristan is in charge of he's the water quality director, and my daughter is right now training their invasive plants director.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they do have again outreach.
Yeah.
We can meet with them, and like I said, Tristan has been in a couple of these meetings. I know that.
I was just wanted to throw out one thing, that JD on that dam commission meeting that Cheryl and I went to, he
Yeah.
said that he's not a grant writer, and I was wondering if anybody knows any grant writers that might be helpful to the dam commission.
Yeah, all right, Nick does. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't, I know I'm in Massachusetts, but they do have a skill set in knowing how to write those things. So Nick,
Yeah.
you know someone? Or
I
you
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. You agree with me, right? It really is a skill. It's not
It is
just,
a skill set.
yeah, it's like a certain kind of, you got to write it a certain way. And so
I think I've actually offered to help write a grant for the dam commission. I sent an email out, and I never received a response back. So
Maybe JD doesn't even know who you are.
no, they
No,
did at
JD
the
knows.
time.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Well, I mean, if grant writing would help get some money for the 3 towns, that would be great.
More than willing,
Cheryl,
Dan.
did they say something like 27 pages? That the
Yeah,
grants are like,
that's a grant that JD wrote.
do the elected officials know that, this is probably a stupid question, do they know we are doing this, and are they aware that there's this, they do? Do they care? Is it the kind of thing, like, once you're organized, we're happy to talk to you? I mean, is there any sense of that, or?
So I've done presentations to both Sabattus and Wales. Green never responded back to me, their board, or their town manager. I've done presentations to I've talked to Steve Wood on the phone. I've talked to Randall Greenwood. Those are all either your county commissioner or state representative.
They're both state reps.
Yeah, both state reps. I've talked to at least Sabattus and Lisbon's county commissioner, and he seemed excited. Through the grapevine, I've heard talk that they think that this should be done by the municipal governments. And as I talk to you, as I've told all of you all, that I don't think that I think that stakeholder involvement needs to be much more valued than it has been. And that's why that was the findings from my research, and that was the why I started to try to reach out and do this group. to try to create a voice for you all, and try to get your I guess skin in this game in this way. I am more than happy, and Dan, maybe you have a better ear to the ground than I do. Like I said, it's just been through my connections back home through the grapevine. But I would love if they would come to the meetings. I would love if they
Yeah.
wanted to be involved. I guess, are they waiting for me to officially reach out to them? I guess, do you have any sense?
How do you mean, Nick? To go, how do I put this? To go to the towns?
No, Anthony had asked, like, how do they feel about this group and the work that we're doing? And I do know that they know that we exist and they know what we're doing. But how do they feel about this group?
I have not heard any feedback.
Okay.
Nick,
I
when
have
you
a feeling
say-
that,
Sorry,
go ahead.
sorry, no, go ahead, Donna.
I have a feeling, based on some comments that I've heard, that they consider us another group doing a Sisyphean act of trying to fix something that can't be fixed.
So they think the lake is gonna, whatever happens, happens, there's nothing that can be done about it?
I have heard that sentiment.
Interesting.
So
It's pretty
just-
dark for an elected official to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, talk about, the economic harm it'll do to the three communities. Nick, when you say that they think the municipalities, you mean that should be doing this, that you mean they think they should be doing it? They're the
So
municipalities, and why are citizens getting involved? Is that what you mean?
this is just through the grapevine.
Yeah.
To take that as through as well, but the general vibe has been that something should be done, but it shouldn't be done by either me. I don't know if they mean me specifically or us. So,
Well, they don't rattle the cage.
sorry, Wayne.
They don't want you rattling their cage.
Well, I think that might have something to do with it too.
They're not doing anything. And that's what I don't understand. Like, let us handle it, but they're not doing anything, right?
Exactly.
That's been my point all along. They've had this information. I mean, like the documents I showed you from the beginning. This has been a known problem since the 1960s. I mean, there's no denying that whatsoever. Complex systems theory and social ecological systems theory, how I view this problem, has been around since the 1970s. There's ways to approach this problem that have not been tried. There's ways that haven't been done, and I'm trying to offer a new way to do it. If they think it's some pipe dream that we're just kind of spinning our tires and nothing's ever going to get solved, I feel bad for our future generations that that's our leaders saying that.
I know,
I don't
really.
know, but
Right.
Let us know that so we can all sell our property and get out now.
not
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really, what a crazy way of looking at it.
I'm just, and this is just all through the grapevine, I'm assuming, but give however much weight you want to it, but I don't know, just from what I've learned about the future impacts of climate change, how it's going to affect future generations and everything like that, and how the lake or how the pond already is, I just couldn't sit idly by anymore with the information that I had. And with the skills that I have, I'm just trying to put them to use to try to do something good for the home community that I had. If that's spinning your tires or a Sisyphus, rolling the rock up the hill and it's just going to fail, I just will keep going, I guess, until I die. But that's just the way it is.
Don't give up.
Well, the
I
more people
don't
you
plan to.
can have pushing up that rock, maybe we
Yeah,
can get up to the
exactly.
top of the hill.
Exactly.
Well,
Hey, Danny,
Nick.
how long have you been pushing that rock?
I've been pushing that rock. My wife just asked me how long have I been pushing that rock,
A long friggin'
and I've been
time.
pushing that rock for 45 years.
I believe it, Dan, and I appreciate it.
Hopefully you feel like you got some other people joining you behind that rock now again.
Well, I'll tell you that I've had a lot of help in the 45 years, but the people that we're all talking to right now I know two of them. One of them's Donna, the other's Cheryl. Okay?
Okay.
So everyone else that was been pushing this rock with me isn't here.
Oh, you gotta have a new generation of pushing the rock.
Look,
Yeah,
Dan, you're
you're-
lucky I'm here at my age.
And you're here,
Yeah.
so that tells me you still have some hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I still have some hope.
Yeah, there's got to be plenty of things else you could do at a Wednesday night at 6. So glad you're here.
Thank you. I just, one thing I want to say is our selectmen in the 3 towns, those guys work hard. Eric is from Wales. He's a selectman. He's on the dam commission. He shows up to our meetings. He's typically 5 to 10 minutes late because he's getting out of another meeting. You know, and look, these guys are they actually work hard dealing with the town affairs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, they're just like the rest of us, but and I shouldn't say they're volunteering, but
You know, say they do get paid, but
Yeah.
I
well,
agree.
they don't get paid to be on the dam commission. Dam commission is full volunteer.
I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate their time and their efforts,
Yeah.
and I know they work hard. I guess my final thought would just be if the sentiment that we've been hearing from through the grapevine is true, I guess if why would they attempt to discourage what is happening? It would be my question, but I mean, if they're too busy to do this stuff, usually you would think that somebody would be like, oh, thank God somebody's trying to pick this up and take care of it because it needs to be done.
True.
And I don't know what the sentiment is. I hope to find out, and I'm gonna actually try to get to that and see. Here we go. All right.
Well,
Oh.
Cheryl and I did see the dam commission in progress, and yeah, they clearly committed, devoted
Yeah.
to their work.
I
We
believe it.
try.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept right on the agenda and moved through it.
What? We had an agenda?
Planning that meeting with the 3 towns.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's good. Good
Awesome.
meeting.
Great. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
I'll see you all next week. Yep. No, thank
Good
you,
night.
Dan. I'll
Hey,
send out
Nick,
an
I won't
update.
be I won't be able to attend next week. My wife just told me that I'm on vacation and
Oh.
we're going away.
Good for you.
Okay.
Enjoy it. Seriously.
I'll try. From what I'm
Oh,
told,
I will.
it's me and her and the family, which
Mhm.
is all the kids, all the grandkids.
There you
That sounds
go.
wonderful.
Okay,
So-
well,
Sometimes I kind of wonder, I think I might prefer to be here.
oh, yeah.
You go enjoy yourself.
Don't say that too
Thank you.
loud. Bye.
All right, everybody. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Nick. Night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nick.